Welcome to this presentation on organization and structure of businesses. As you may have guessed, Mr. Opfer has lost his voice again, and I unfortunately still haven't gotten over my fear of speaking publicly. So to start off with, I'm going to tell you a bit about the organization chart. It is a diagram showing the functions and departments of a firm and the people within them. As you can see, it is usually shaped like a triangle, and it clearly shows the hierarchy in a firm. Like in the example, it should have a clear top, middle, and bottom. Each layer of authority is called a level of authority or command. It is important to understand what authority means. It is the power or right to give orders or make decisions. As indicated by the arrow pointing upwards in the picture, authority and responsibility increase towards the top of the pyramid. The other arrow shows that in a hierarchy, the vertical chain of command can be seen. This means that orders are communicated downwards through the hierarchy. At the same time and through the same channels, information is communicated up towards the top of the triangle. This diagram shows what an organization chart might look like. On the very top you can see the managing director. He or she has the greatest authority and also responsibility. The managing director gives orders to the directors, who give orders to the managers of the different departments. These then give orders to their subordinates, etc. The lower down the level, the more people there are in it. This is responsible for the triangular shape. However, organizational structures do not show the level of formality or informality in an organization. In some firms, for example, it may be acceptable to sometimes bypass the official channels of communication. This can be dangerous because vital info may not reach the appropriate decision maker. On the other hand, the structure may also be surrounded by rigid rules and procedures, and activities may be guided by strict rules and procedures. This is called bureaucracy. And bureaucracy means that individuals are given little personal initiative, and great regard is paid to a person's position in the hierarchy and their official role. There are flat and tall organizational structures. Flat organization is when there are few levels of authority or hierarchy, and tall organization is when an organization has many levels of authority or hierarchy. This diagram shows a flat organizational structure. There are only 3 levels of authority. This means that managers have a high span of control. The span of control refers to the number of people that each manager controls. The fewer levels of hierarchy there are, the more people are controlled by one manager. The main advantages of this are that delegation can be a more important part of how the organization is managed, that those at the top of the hierarchy have less obvious control over subordinates, that the distance between layers of management is less, and those applying the decisions feel closer to those who originally made them, that the need to be communicating information is reduced, as those lower down have the authority to carry out responsibilities, that costs can be reduced as certain management functions are no longer needed, and that less supervision is required. Here you can see a tall organizational structure. It is clearly more complex. Managers have a low span of control. This means that they control less people. Although the trend is going towards flat organizational structures, tall organization also has its advantages. These include that those at the top can keep a tight control over employees, that the structure might encourage greater communication between layers of the management structure and clearer lines of communication, and that training opportunities and personal development can be more easily managed and attached to promotional opportunities. To get from a tall organizational structure to a flat one, businesses can apply the method of delayering. This is removing a layer of authority or management in an organization. Organizations can be built up in different structures. One of the most popular ones is the pyramidal structure. This is when the smallest group with the most responsibility and authority controls the firm. There are 4 main layers: the MD, the senior management, the middle management, and the workers, which are definitely the biggest group. Information is transported up the pyramid and orders are passed down. This diagram shows a centralized structure. This is where decision making is focused on the few members of the MD. All other functions do as the MD tells them to, and everything revolves around the top layer of management. Here you can see a nice illustration of a collaborative system. This is a lot more decentralized, and all functions work together to control the firm and make decisions. The circular or flat approach is when a business is split into functions that do not really interact. Each function has a manager that reports back, but they all work more or less independent from each other. Last but not least, there's the matrix structure. This is an organization that is based around project teams. Each team includes members of different functions, so it can work independently from other teams. A team might work for a certain customer, a certain product, or a certain area. This, of course, allows the team to specialize on their domain. Thank you all for listening, and I do hope that Mr. Opfer soon recovers from his chronic throat ache.